Want to add it on.
Oh, sure, okay.
If I can't go, then I'll just give it to someone else.
Alright. And also, the Facebook page is a great resource for if you need to get in contact with someone. Yeah, we got a whole box.
Okay.
Question.
What's up?
Hit me first.
Were you all remember that?
I'm not. I'm through it.
Yeah,
no, you're not. That's okay.
Because I'm gonna buy my own ticket.
Oh, you're already gonna buy everything? Okay, then yeah. As long as you didn't raise your hand when we said like if you want to go to 9.
Alright, awesome.
Alright, now what were we saying?
Are you using this
Wait, what? Oh no, it was the ideas for the Oh yeah, okay. So Dan brought up the fact that how many of you have never been to a convention before? Raise your hand.
Oh my god.
Awesome.
Yeah.
If you go to New York Anime Fest, prepare for the biggest group of sweaty nerds you've ever seen.
It's gonna smell terrible.
Shower, what's that? Okay, so what should we talk about? Then where to start?
Somebody has a question in the back.
I'm just saying because we had problems last semester, the door problem. Going to the front, or why go to the back.
Oh yeah, so for next week, like after like 11:05, like 11:10ish, sometime between there, we usually close the front door, but we'll prop the back door right there open with the chairs, so that this way there's not so much commotion with people coming in through the front and stuff like that. So just like next week, if you come in late, just come in through the back.
Whatever. Ignore the people at the door.
Yeah. So,
Alright.
question.
For the bake sales, our place here that we're able to cook, or do we have to cook everything at home and bring it?
I'm sorry.
You cook it at home and you bring it here.
Yeah. So we'll have like a little like notice that says like all these things were made at home. So,
Like they usually stick you out in the middle of the student center, right, Babylon.
Oh, they can stop. I guess for you can just send out cards.
Yeah, just today. Just don't set something up for lecture. Okay. I didn't know that. We will let people know. I'm sorry. Thanks. Oh, so that's everyone who wanted to do a talk? Yeah.
Oh, no. I wasn't asking.
Pretty much.
Oh, never mind. I did sign.
As far as going to the convention, it's all on you. The most preferred route of transit is the LIRR. So start familiarizing yourself with the train schedule. Most popular ways to get in is Ronkonkoma, which does not involve getting off a train and getting on another. Port Jefferson, you will have to change at Huntington.
So usually we have our advisor who wasn't able to make it today, but he usually, what it is he'll make this awesome little printout thing to tell you when he is going to be on the train. So if you were unsure or nervous about going in, you could venture in with him. But this year he's not able to do that. So we're not sure if the other chaperones, because every 10 members we have to have a chaperone. But we're not sure if they're gonna go in at a certain time and then meet up with you guys. Obviously, as time comes, we'll give you more information. But if all fails, you are responsible to get yourself there on your own. We can't do anything about it. We'll give you phone numbers for either like if there's an emergency, if you're lost, if you need to get in contact with someone. We'll give you their numbers and most likely ours as well. So if there's a problem, you can hit us up if our phones are working within the convention center, or if we're not there yet.
I mean, it's not like a high school trip where you have to stay with your chaperone. Really, they're there for liability reasons. It's you come in when you can. Basically, if there's any case of emergency, you're going to either contact us or primarily an advisor. I mean, as far as when you get there, it's a relatively short walk. The train goes into Penn Station, and I believe it's only like a 2-3 block walk.
Yeah, something like that. Usually there's a lot of costume people. You just kind of follow them.
Yeah, as you get closer, you see more people that look nerdy. So it's also
Walking away with
I'm telling you now, since it's going to be Comic-Con included, you will see many Supermans and many Spider-Mans walking.
It's going to be a very big convention
There's
because
people everywhere.
if you don't know what's going on, in previous years, it's always just been Anime Fest, which is a pretty sizable convention, which is held in the basement of the Javits Center. This year, they thought it was an awesome idea to they're both nerd calls, put them together, like monopolize this. So the entire Jacob Javits Center is going to be the New York Comic Con and the New York Anime Fest. So the entire basement of the floor will just be an entire dealer's room. It's going to be gigantic, and it's like, well, we personally, I don't think it's the best idea, but we'll see how it goes. We'll see how it goes.
15-part question. I got 15-part.
All right, we started already.
All right. What do you do have the night to go? And is there a website to go to for this?
Yes. Yeah, New York Anime Fest. Like honestly,
NYAF.com.
Do not go to NYAF.com. Do not. I made that mistake. Don't do it. It has nothing to do with New York and nothing to do with anime festivals. Nothing. Do not go to that website. Don't listen. Yes, it is.
If you go on, alright guys, also because I just thought of something. By going to New York Anime Fest and by getting a New York Anime Festival badge, you're able to go into all the New York Comic Con stuff.
One badge, two conventions.
One badge, two conventions, because you can buy a New York Comic Con badge, and it's the same exact thing as a New York Anime Fest badge. It just has a different picture on it. Okay? So, if you go to New York Comic Con, you can buy a badge right there, and it'll still work for New York Anime Fest, or you can go to NewYorkComicCon.com/NIAF and buy a New York Anime Fest.
And if you become tourists, just Google New York Anime Fest, New York Comic Con. It'll pop up first thing.
No,
I have warned you. If your eyes are like melted out next time you come here, it's not my fault. It's all his. It's all his fault. Yeah.
You're liable to sue him if he's false.
We're not going to answer the same question twice, so if somebody already asked it.
What?
Do we have a bear problem on the move?
What? No.
Yeah, like that's it. You just cried wolf. We're ignoring you for the rest of the kid. Get under the no.
Pretty much hotels, if you didn't book one already, best of luck.
I'm warning you now, it's ridiculous.
It's really
It's New York City, so $480 a night easy.
We crunched the numbers at the cheapest hotels, and by far it's more wallet friendly to just travel in every day.
Yeah, like $64 is like 10,000 times better than like 140 per person.
You're gonna want to know the difference between on peak and off peak.
That's a good thing to know.
Well, you don't have to worry about that except for on Friday, depending on how early you go. Because on peak is pretty much just when people would be traveling into the city and out of the city for work, so the tickets cost a little more. But you can't buy an off-peak ticket thinking it's cheaper and go on a train that's on peak. You'll get
Don't make that mistake.
And they'll charge you like $15 extra. So
Yeah.
don't do that.
If you get on if you get on an on-peak train with an off-peak ticket, they'll charge you the extra.
And it'll be a lot less. And then you'll pay for your life.
They're like watching the gap.
But Saturday and Sunday, you don't need to worry because Saturday and Sunday are off peak because there's not normal work hours, so you don't have to worry about that then.
Yeah.
But definitely look at if you've never traveled into the city before, definitely look at like the system of like it's really easy with the streets. It's just like going up one way, going up the other way, like the avenues and streets and all that. Definitely look at the websites so that you know where it is, and definitely look at the local railroads and local transportation if you need that.
If you're thinking of cosplaying, no generic gun shapes.
Nothing.
No black L's in your hands. Nothing that can resemble anything that can hurt, poke, stab anyone.
They will take
because
you
the
down.
National Guard will take you down.
I'll have a field day.
Oh my God! They're like, look at that nerd. They'll just go after him.
And also, even if you do happen to say that you're staying in the city, you're like, oh, I don't need to worry about the National Guard at Penn Station. New York Anime Fest has a lovely policy that if you bring in a $600 airsoft rifle that cannot shoot but looks like a gun, guess what? You just wasted all that money because they're not giving it back to you.
Now.
It's like
Security
with
guards.
Icon, they'll usually be like, oh, we're holding it at the table or something if you've ever been to Icon. But with NIAF, there's zero tolerance. They take it, you run the risk of losing your badge without getting a refund, can't come back in. You might even, if you cause enough trouble, you might be banned from the convention as a whole. So yeah, just don't bring, like common sense, don't bring guns. The city is very, very sensitive towards anything that looks or resembles like terrorism, so just be careful.
Also, in terms of metal swords, don't bring them. I will, on the Facebook page, post the cosplay policies for what you can and cannot bring for New York Anime Fest. So no metal swords for certain people. Scotty.
It wasn't Erica, it was Scotty.
Well, she's attached to Scotty.
Yeah,
She's not.
it's as close as I can get to Scotty right now.
They'll just beat the crap out of you.
Yeah, so definitely just pay attention to that.
All right. So I know there's mention of people who have never gone to conventions before. Okay, we got that. Is there anyone here who's has been to cons but never to New York Anime Fest?
Really?
Alright, well, does anyone have any particular questions about it? It's not like, I know a lot of us go to Icon because it's online and all that. I know there's certain things that happen on Icon, like, the rave and stuff. New York Anime Fest, the rave isn't at the convention. They kind of cart you off elsewhere if you want to go to it. We're not entirely sure where it is. I just know it's not held at the convention center. They usually give you a place, and if you want to go, you go to that place, kind of thing. But NIAF is really cool with stuff like they have concerts, they have anime premieres, they have amazing guests. Like they have Crispin Freeman going this year.
Yeah.
They usually try to have at least one very popular Asian come from overseas. like last.
I got traumatized.
Is it Yuki Nagata?
Yeah.
Yeah, her voice actress is going this year, right?
Like last year they had Yoshiyuki Tomino, who's the creator of Gundam. The year before they had Mr. Amano, which I forgot his first name currently. Similar to that. So yeah, it's a lot of fun. There'll be crazy